Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and they just released the Call of Dragons developer Q&A number 8 today. You may remember they did the June feedback yesterday. So is it a little bit of a coincidence or close that they're doing these back-to-back? We'll see. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get right into it. And as always, before we start, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So, here we go. Number 1. Would you consider removing the gem gathering fatigue mechanism and providing more ways for players to obtain gems? Now, this is kind of a follow-up question to what we got in the June dev feedback yesterday. In update 1.0.27, we've added the new exchange house feature. At the exchange house, you'll be able to exchange coins to purchase gold, wood, ore, and mana, and sell resources to obtain gems. Interesting! So they're going to allow for you to sell excess resources, potentially, or unused, unneeded resources, to obtain gems. Which, this is interesting. Because on one hand, at face value, I kind of like this. As someone who, if you're free to play low spend and you're just non-stop gathering and you're at a point where you just have extra resources, you're not really using them in that moment, can you trade or convert a portion of those resources or whatever the ratio would be, right? If it's like 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 2.5 to 1, whatever it ends up being, and you use those resources to transfer so then you can get gems from them, it's not a bad idea. The interesting part, however, for this is, I'm just also thinking about like the RSS selling side of it too as well. But at the end of the day, it's, people are going to get RSS anyways, regardless. So it's not as though it's something that the free to play is ever really going to be in need of. And anyone who's typically buying RSS is, for the most part, I would imagine, utilizing it on troops for not only trading and healing, but I guess there still could be a factor. I wonder for anyone who does that, or if you're someone who is a spender, does that really even matter at that point, or is it really just the resources that are more important? Again, I'm not a mid or high spender myself, so I'm not exactly sure where the value kind of leans on it being one side or the other. Anyways, let's continue reading. So we're also considering introducing limits to tradable resources in order to prevent market gluts in periods of price instability. Part of me feels like they probably wanted just to say to avoid RSS sellers. But I guess, I guess the limits are more so people can't just, trade in all their RSS on gems, but still, why? I don't, even if you're trading all your RSS on gems or any however much you want, right? Like that really only benefits, in my opinion, I think more on the free to play low spend side, because it gives more of those players on average, or more of the majority player base, the opportunity to acquire gems at a faster rate. I, for one, would be okay with them doing both. I'd be okay with them removing the fatigue limit and not having a limit on being able to exchange RSS for gems. It's just, part of me just feels like if you're spending on the game anyways, think about how many spenders just have so much gems already stockpiled. And yeah, regardless if they use some of them or all of them or however many, they're still going to have gems. So I don't see this, like this to me isn't really pushing the top end apron as much as it's like having that rising tide lifting all the boats from the bottom. Like I feel like the bubble is being lifted a lot more than the top would be lifted, even if the top is still being lifted, if that makes sense. We hope that trading resources will provide players with a more stable source of gems. At the same time, players will still be able to obtain gems through gathering from gem mines. The exchange house feature is still under development, so check the rules in the coming update for more details. Okay, so I wonder if that means 1.0.27 is right around the corner. Let's get to number 2. Question. There's not a lot of veteran players. Maybe this is events. There's not a lot of veteran players to do. Who is proofreading these? Will you be adding more events? In order to provide continuing enjoyment for our players, we'll be hosting regular events on a monthly basis from August onwards. You'll be able to exchange even items for resources, speed ups, hero tokens, medals, and more. We hope this change will allow players to enjoy their time in the game even more. Okay, so basically got to wait a month. Does that also mean that the update will probably be coming closer to August, either end of July or beginning of August, if that's the case? I would imagine that if it's going to start in August, they probably would have to hit the update prior to August 1. So maybe that gives us, a 2 to 3 week window. But again, that's nice that we're at least, these are all things that they've already mentioned, right, that we are expecting to get. Number 3, could you add the ability to set priority levels for different severely wounded legions and more policies related to resource healing? In update 1.0.27, we've added a new feature that will allow you to filter through units currently in your hospital and heal them with a single tap. This is a nice quality of life. This is something that I think people have been advocating for, where, again, if you're using one unit or one particular type or using multiple types, but you need a specific unit healed first before others, it makes sense. And heal them with a single tap, simplifying the healing process. The update also reduces the base cost of resource healing in order to better meet players' healing needs. Oh, interesting. So they're going to reduce healing cost, or RSS healing cost. Okay, why not maybe increase some of the free healing too as well? Don't think that's a bad idea. Will you strengthen flying units in order to better balance unit type strengths? Answer, players have suggested to us that flying units are too weak, and we will be making a number of changes to fix this in update 1.0.27. Wow, including boosting flying units' engineering stats and strengthening flying marksman skills. Keep an eye out for the further announcement. We hope that these changes will improve balance between different unit types. If you have any other feedback regarding the strength of different unit types, we encourage you to relay it to us. Players have also suggested that warnings should be issued if aggroable enemies like Darkling Guards are detected in a flying unit's path. We think this would be a good addition to the game, but we're still considering how to implement it. We'll update you as soon as we have more news regarding the suggestion. Yeah, I guess that kind of somewhat makes sense. It would just maybe be nice if maybe the unit, if you're, like, I guess another way of looking at this is that if you, either like a toggle, I guess, not even a toggle, like part of me just feels like, okay, maybe that unit shouldn't be aggroable, right? Like maybe it's aggroable if you stop and you're near it, but like if you're just flying past it or something. But the challenge is that you would still be in its radius bubble as well. Maybe there's a difference. I don't know. Yeah, that's one where it's like you either don't make them aggroable, where they don't target anyone ground or flying, or maybe you come up with some kind of talk. That's a tricky one right there. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know on that one. Next question, question 4. Could every hero have at least one free chance to reset their talent tree in order to allow players to realign their hero talents in accordance with their own strategic requirements after gaining experience with them? We have decided to provide... here we go. We have decided to provide one free talent reset in future updates. We are also looking at ways to improve the hero talent system, such as displaying what percentage of players choose certain talents. But these improvements are still under consideration. We thank you for your patience and encourage you to share your opinion on the subject with us. Oh, interesting. So they're going to show you. So this is something that games like League of Legends, I think maybe like World of Warcraft, other titles that do, where other games where they will show you, for example, like certain pick rates, ban rates, certain pathing rates. And I don't know how prevalent or how common this is or not, but do I like the idea of them saying, out of, like here's a recommended path that 79% of players choose or something to that effect? Like that would be cool to do something like that. Also, what I think would be nice is that if you are selecting your path, it would be nice for it to show you what those percentages are. So if you are taking certain pathing, it'd be nice if it gave you like a little laundry list on the side. So like, let's say you're over here, you're choosing your pathing, but then on the right, it would show you top down everything you've taken, like left, like a line item. And then it would tell you what the percentage is, right, that you have for that. And then for any for any doubles or triples that you've taken of the same talent, it would just stack. It would just say one line item, and then it would say ×1 or ×2, and then it would just increase the percentage right appropriately for that. That would be nice, so you kind of just get a simple top-down of everything you've selected, especially if you want to compare, right? And then what would be dope is if you could compare different talent tree build-outs from one set to another set. So like, let's say you take two branches on one tree, and then you do two other branches, right? So you do two other branches, which would mean that you have one branch is the same and one branch different, and then you can compare those. So like, you could look at them side by side, right? So you'd have a laundry list here and a laundry list here. That would be pretty cool as well. But do I like this idea of them giving you a free talent reset? Yeah. Have we just said forever that they just need to make talent resets free? They should not charge people, and you should be able to change and switch talents in real time quickly. Not during battle, but when you go back to your city, you can immediately swap and then go ahead and send your units back out. I absolutely still feel that way. So hopefully we'll get it there. But do I think this is at least one small step in somewhat of that direction? Okay. Question 5, can you expand the War Pet skill card storage capacity? Since the introduction of the War Pet system last September, we've made upgrades to it with each update since. And I think for the most part, the updates for the War Pet system have been, even though I don't do War Pets, from conversations I've had with people, the updates that they've had thus far have been well received. So I will applaud them there. We're happy that it has been such a big hit with players, and we'd like to thank you for all your suggestions regarding the system. With the passing of time, existing skill card capacity has gradually become less able to keep up with the speed at which players acquire skills. From update 1.0.27, upgrading your skill card capacity will add much more storage space each time. That's nice. Don't worry if you've already expanded your storage space, as your storage will be increased proportionally. Okay, so they are going to increase it. How much? Who knows? But that seems to me like it's another win. Let's get to number 6. Well, we're almost done. We got 2 more questions. Will you make it possible to upgrade skill cards directly from the skill card compendium? Answer. In order to make obtaining and upgrading War Pet skill cards more convenient, we've made 2 major changes. Firstly, talent skill cards will be available for purchase from the Merit Store, and more types of skill cards will be available for purchase from the Crystal Store. And Exchange House, sorry, just my mind went to Crystal Tech from Rock. This is the moment I heard that, though I don't think that's the case. And Exchange House. Secondly, we have added the quick upgrade feature for skill cards. They did talk about this in a previous feedback. Players can now quick upgrade 0-star and 1-star skill cards directly from their compendium, and are guaranteed to receive the required skill card after quick upgrading. See the 1.0.27 update announcement for more details, and try it out for yourself once the update becomes available. We hope that this will improve the War Pet training process for all players. Okay, so you're going to be able to purchase them from the Merit Store. I think for the most part, maybe that's a good thing. I'd love to hear what people think. Again, I haven't messed with pets right now, outside of, again, conversations I've had with people that are pro pets, if you will. So you let me know. Again, they're adding you being able to get cards to another area, and merits are not necessarily paywall gated per se. So I'd like to believe that this is a nice addition, if it's another way to do it, which means that you can upgrade skill cards that much more quickly. And more types of skill types of skill cards will be available for purchase from the Crystal Store and Exchange House. And we know the Exchange... Okay, so the Exchange House... So it looks like they're just giving you more ways to maybe exchange resources for materials. So this hopefully should be favoring people that are gathering or have a lot of resources. I don't see that as necessarily an impactful challenge. Of course, we'll have to see how that plays out after it's introduced. And then the last one is, will you be adding more gathering type talent, skills, and heroes? We're excited to announce that 2 new gathering heroes will be added in update 1.0.29. So that's 3 updates away from now. But okay. I mean, yeah, would we like to get some gathering? I mean, would we like to get like at least 10 gathering heroes so we can do 2 per march, up to 5 marches? Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure we'll get there in due time. With that in mind, that is it for what we got for you guys today. Would love to hear what you think. I think my favorite one right now is probably the Exchange House for just the possibility of free to play and low spend being able to get more gems from that. I have some potential worries there. I am a little skeptical because I do want to see how that's going to play out in the RSS seller market, and will that have any kind of huge impact or effect? Or, like I said, is the bottom going to be raised more than the top end will be expanded? So yeah, and then the more events, I think that's exciting. If there's going to be more consistent events starting from August, I think that's something that many people have been asking for. And the thing that have always been consistently saying is that it's nice for people to have the opportunity to play the game up to, right, if it's 14, 15, 16 hours a day. It doesn't mean that people will, right? What we're saying is that, and when I say up to, I don't mean like they need to hit that. I just mean that in this idea of you being able to have as many events or enough events where if you're someone who wants to play that long, which trust me, they're probably, if you had enough things to do for 16 hours out of the day, there will be people that will play for 16 hours out of the day, especially if it means they can advance their account's development and progression in somewhat of a meaningful-ish way. And so, because if I had that amount of time, I would probably do that too. Like if there was just more things to do in game. And we're going to do a kind of a stat breakdown on that for what the average playtime is per day when someone logs in until they've completed everything they need to do, daily tasks, any ongoing events, for kind of an average day for them. And hopefully that'll also be pretty telling when we look at the scope of the player base and on average how much time are they spending per day. And this is, of course, outside of war, fighting, etc. Like just if you're doing your dailies kind of on a PvE side. That's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Which one is your favorite? Which one are you least looking forward to? Which one are you kind of on the fence and skeptical? Would love to hear. As always, until next time, I'll catch y'all later.